Bethpage Federal Credit Union is the largest credit union on Long Island and in New York State. We've got approximately 280,000 members and 33 full-service branches and a little over $6.5 billion in assets. We conduct research every 2 to 3 years to really determine the health of our brand, understand our member expectations and how we're performing against those expectations. Last year was particularly important because we were looking at potential new markets, and we wanted to be really sure that we would be able to replicate our success that we've enjoyed in the Long Island market in other markets. So we have worked with a variety of firms over the years to do this type of research in the past, but we really wanted to identify a corporate branding specialist this time around, and we conducted a fairly comprehensive RFP process. Looked at least a dozen firms, and ultimately decided that VDLA was the strongest candidate. And I have to say, in all the years that I've been doing this type of work, they are unquestionably one of the best partners we've had, and just did an exceptional job. VDLA's process was really comprehensive. They started with interviews among our senior management team, and then line managers, people in the branches, etc. From that, they moved into qualitative research among members and non-members in a traditional focus group setting. We learned a lot from that, but then the real heart of the research was a survey among 1,000 plus members and non-members that was designed to identify how people felt about our brand attributes, which had been identified in the earlier qualitative. And then most importantly, which of those brand attributes were the things that moved people to recommend us. So they did a really interesting correlation between how people rated us across a broad spectrum of brand attributes, and then turning that into actionable insights by doing that correlation analysis in terms of identifying the drivers for recommendation. So one of the key findings of the study was that among 30 plus brand attributes, the key drivers tended to be those that fell along the emotional spectrum. And with that research, we were really built our whole positioning and messaging around touching into those emotional qualities that people told us through the research were the most important to them in selecting and continuing with a primary financial institution. Another great thing about the VDLA team is that they really are not only seasoned pros, but they have a tremendous sense of credibility when you bring them into your management team or executive team. They're really genuine about the work they do. They're smart about the work they do, and that builds a credibility that facilitates good active discussion around the project, and ultimately move things along to being able to take action and have people be comfortable with the decisions and recommendations that are being made. One of the nice things about working with VDLA is that the research really translated into actionable results and strategy. A lot of times you can do a project like this and you have the numbers, and then you have to ask your question, what does this lead to? In this case, it really became a definitive positioning strategy, a whole new messaging strategy, a new tagline that is now being integrated throughout all our marketing and communications, and which we've rolled out internally, and it's become a rallying cry for our people, especially those who are in member-facing positions. So, if there's any advice I can give to someone who's just thinking about a project like this, start with the facts, use a fact-based approach, but work with a firm that can also translate that research into action plans and a strategy. And I would certainly recommend VDLA if you're considering a project like this. I would certainly use them again.